What's up, YouTubers? Today I will bring you a deck profile on another Bushido game. It's called Body Fight. I play Dragon War for now. The body monster is Jackknife. Its ability is pay 1 gauge to call it, and then you could pay 2 gauge, search your deck for another card name that has Jackknife in it, and right on top of it. So basically, this could evolve like Pokemon, like evolution. So like no difference. And then for the grade 2 right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. For Jackknife, this is a buddy, so you most likely want to get it, and then you could call it, and then you could do its effect. Then 2, Thunderstorm. Thunderstorm basically one of the cards that ride on top of a Jackknife. You could use Jackknife to search, or if this is your hand and you have Jackknife on the field, you could pay a gauge and then just put this on top of Jackknife. So it's pretty good, not bad. And then the effect is pay 1 gauge, you could put it on top of Jackknife, that's normal. The second ability is you could pay two life for this ability to destroy one of your opponent monster in center, left, or right. It's your choice. You could and you could use it like multiple times in one turn. So it's not bad. If you have a lot of life point, you could use it whenever you want. Next is Jackknife Dispersal. It's same thing as Thunderstorm, but instead of destroying it, it has Penetrate. So it's a 3 crit penetrator. So if your opponent have a center, you just use this Penetrate. And then, because the center has something, usually other Dragon Roll card cannot negate, since the Dragon Shield and some of the guarding cards says when your center have no monster. When you have no monster in the center. The last one is Jackknife Bystand. This I only run 1 because you want to search this and not having this in hand, since its ability to pay 2 gauge to ride on top Jackknife instead of this one or Thunderstorm only pay 1 gauge. So you most likely want to search it out so you don't waste a hand. And second effect, when this enters the field, you could add a Dragon Shield from your drop zone to the hand, and it also has Soul Guard 6k, very good. Next up for grade 1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Blade Charm Dragon. It has no effect. I run this because it's a power, since a lot of the monster your opponent control has high defense, so this could run over it easily. Usually it's supposed to be 5 to 6, so you could run this overly. You don't. The grade 1 you run is not for crit, because you use Jackknife and your like weapon and your impact as a to deal your opponent damage, not these. These just to clear out your opponent's monsters. Then we have 4 Blade Wing Dragon. Its ability is during each player's battle phase, you can move before beginning of the battle. You can move this to another place. So basically, if you put this in the left and you have nothing in the center, your opponent declare attack. You just move this, and then you guard 1 and attack against it unless they have penetrate. So it's pretty much a good card. It's like a shield, but only once, because it will destroy unless your opponent can kill it. Next, 1000 Rapier Dragon. You run this because of the 5k 2 crit. For grade 1, it's pretty good now, because you can string your opponent easily. And then finally, 2 Blonde Shield Dragon. It's a shield. If you don't have a weapon and you don't have a really good card, because Jackknife you need to put it on left or right to activate the effect, so you just put this in the center for a 6k defense. If your opponent doesn't link attack, usually they cannot kill it. Not like now, since they have like Enforcer and other stuff. Next up for spells, one of our best cards in the deck, Green Dragon Knight, Son of Ancient Land. It's a set card like field spell, and whenever you call an armor dragon, you gain life. So basically, like body call give you extra life, and then because of this, you gain 2 instead of 1. So it's pretty good, and it stays on the field whenever you call. So if you call like 3 grade 1, you gain 3 life points. So it's the brokenest card in the deck. So then for green shield, it's a guard, and then you gain a life for it. For blue shield, it's a guard, but you instead of gaining a life, you gain a gauge. So it's pretty good because you need gauge also. Jackknife is a lot of gauge. Then for Drago Energy, it's to power up your dragons, so it won't be destroyed, and you could overpower your opponent. And then you could counterattack if your opponent attacks you and then you have high defense than them, so you could punish them. And then that's basically much it. And then the good part about this card is that you may it's a rule for body fight now. It's you may only activate one counter per battle, but during that battle, trigger energy can activate as many times as you want instead of the other ones. So that's why it's a good card. Then trigger one, it's super good shield again for Jackknife. Since Jackknife is on the left or right, and then when your opponent try to kill it, you can just put this in, cast this, and then you protect your Jackknife. Also, you gain 2 life from it, so it's like a bonus basically. Then we have Dragonic Charge 3. You run this because you need gauge, so this help you gain a lot of gauge, so you don't have to worry about your gauge that much. Next, for the weapons, we have our 3 Steel Fist Dragon Knuckle, because this is a free gauge for you if you hit, and then it's a good card since if you only have 3 gauge, pretend you don't have 3 gauge, you can't activate your impact, and then once this hit, you got 4 gauge, and your opponent is down to 4 or less life point, you can activate your impact, which is a broken card, and your opponent always try to protect this, since they don't want you to gain the gauge, sometime, not usually, but I see, when I play, a lot of people try to protect it. Then, finally, our 3 impact, Gargantua Punisher. This is the best, I think this is the best impact for now. At Dragon World, since you pay 4 gauge, your opponent you may only cast this card if both player doesn't have monster in the center and your opponent is 4 life point or less, and then deal 4 damage to your opponent. And also this card cannot be nullified or the damage cannot be reduced. So basically, unless they have something from the promo pack that you get it from tournament, and it's only for Dragon World, so unless your opponent playing Dragon World and then their buddy is on the field, they cannot activate that card. The card's ability is Dragon Heart, and pay 3 gauge. You may only cast this card if your opponent activates impact and your life point becomes 0. But you need to have buddy on the field and your life point become 1 instead of 0. Unless that, your opponent usually cannot survive from this. There's also a new card now that can survive from this. Depends on luck though. It's a Dungeon World weapon. Its effect is when your life point becomes 0, you could check the top card of your deck. If it's a spell, you gain 3 and send that card plus the weapon to the drop zone. So you basically gain 3 life point back, but that usually not gonna happen since this usually should be able to finish the game. So that's why it's broken card. So that's it guys, this is my Dragon World deck profile. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.